Hi class, we are back for another chapter of The Land of Stories, The Enchantress Returns by Chris Colfer. Today I am going to read chapter 5, well at least part of chapter 5. It is a long chapter, so I am going to read it in two parts. So you're going to have to wait a couple days for the second part. So just like all the chapters I read, there's going to be a cliffhanger, right? So I hope this makes you excited to come back and hear the second half of chapter 5. So chapter 5 is called The Proposal. Alex and Connor hadn't looked like identical twins since they were 4 years old. It was around that age when Charlotte stopped dressing them in the same outfits every day and they started growing into their own unique features. But as they sat on the couch, both staring daggers at Bob with their arms crossed, it was once again hard to tell them apart. "So," Bob said, and shifted uncomfortably in a chair across from them. "Your mom said she finally spilled the beans about us." It was brave of him to take the situation by the horns. "She sure did," Connor said. Bob nodded pleasantly, like it was good news. The twins didn't even blink. They were an intimidating pair. "I apologize that those flowers came to the house. They were supposed to have gone to the hospital," Bob said. "Yes, they should have," Alex said. Bob had done thousands of difficult surgeries over the course of his career, but he found being stared down by the children of the woman he was dating to be the most stressful experience of his life. "I understand why this is difficult information to process," Bob said. "But it's still me, guys. I'm still the same Dr. Bob who you've had dinner with a dozen times. I'm the same guy who takes you to see the movies your mom doesn't want to see. I'm still the same guy who brought you Buster. I just happen to be dating our mom," Connor said. "Nice try, but everything you listed makes the situation worse. We thought we knew you." "Are you admitting that Buster was some sort of dowry, Bob?" Alex asked. "Alex, what's a dowry?" Connor said out of the side of his mouth, not breaking his stare at Bob. "It's a settlement of sorts," Alex said. "Like in ancient times, a man would be promised a dozen camels or something in exchange for his daughter's hand of marriage." "Gotcha," Connor said, diverting his full attention back to Bob. "You don't think our mother is worth a dozen camels, Bob? One dog, and you think a deal is sealed?" "I definitely don't think the deal is sealed," Bob said. "Yet." Alex and Connor narrowed their eyes in perfect unison. Bob reached inside his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. The twins wondered what it was for a second, but only a second. Once they realized it was too small to hold anything but a ring, it dawned on them what it meant. "Oh my gosh," Alex said. "No way," Connor said. Bob looked down at the box with a smile. "You know, when my wife died 4 years ago, I never thought I would be happy again," he said. "I save lives every day, but for a long time I thought it would be impossible to save mine. And then along came your mom, and I learned I'd been wrong." Alex and Connor looked at each other out of the corners of their eyes. They'd never seen Bob get so sappy, but still they appreciated how honest he was being with them. "I know you've been seeing each other for a while, but this all seems so sudden," Alex said. "We only found out last night," Connor said. "In our minds, you guys have only been dating for 1 day. Are you sure you aren't rushing things?" The way he looked down at the ring, with loving eyes and a heartfelt smile, made it obvious that Bob had never been so sure about something in his life. "I've been around for a while, guys, and I've learned that things like this don't come around very often," Bob said. "Not taking this opportunity to ask your mother would be with me for the rest of my life would make me the biggest fool in the world." Bob opened the box and showed the twins the ring. Alex gasped. It was the most beautiful ring they'd ever seen. It had a silver band with 2 large diamonds, one blue and the other pink. They could have sworn they heard music playing while it twinkled in the light, but it was just in their heads. "It took me a month to find the perfect one," Bob said. "I knew this was right as soon as I saw it. I thought the diamonds would remind her of you two. They're different shades of the same cut." Alex's eyes immediately watered after hearing this. Connor folded his arms a little tighter. That's the most touching thing I've ever heard, Alex said between sniffles. Stop making me like you again, Connor said, brow furrowed. Bob sat up straighter, happy their meeting was moving in a better direction. I'm not trying to replace your dad, and I'm not asking to be your new one, he said, but I am asking for your permission to ask your mother to marry me. I don't want to do this without your blessing. The twins couldn't believe it. They both felt like they were passengers on this ship, and now he was letting them be its captains. We need a minute to think it over, Connor answered quickly. Before Alex knew it, her brother was dragging her into the kitchen. They stood there for a few moments in total silence, just staring at each other. What are you thinking? Alex asked. I'm thinking this is uncomfortable, Connor said. This is more uncomfortable than that time I walked in on you and Mom talking about bras. Alex rolled her eyes and peeked into the other room at Bob, making sure he couldn't hear them. Honestly, Connor, I don't think we have any power over this. It was really nice of Bob to act like we're part of the decision, but you just heard what he had to say, and you heard what Mom said last night. I don't think anything is going to stop them from being together. Connor sighed and ran his fingers through his hair. You're right, Connor said, but who knows if Mom's even going to say yes? Maybe she'll have reservations about it. Reservations about what? Alex asked. She loves him and he loves her. What's going to stop her? Connor looked away from her, not wanting to say what he was thinking, but they were both thinking it. Dad's dead, Connor. He's not coming back no matter how much we want him to. It was hard for Alex to be so frank. Usually, she let the adults in her life ditch out the tough love. But since they were slowly disappearing, she had no choice but to serve it up for herself. Connor knew she was speaking to herself as much as she was speaking to him. Alex had a talent for saying everything he didn't want to think. I suppose Mom has given us so much over the years. Our blessing is the very least we could give her, Connor said. Yeah, it is, Alex said and nodded. This is another big one. Another big what? Connor asked. A big moment, Alex said inside. We've had a lot of them. Yeah, we have, he said. You'd think we'd be immune to it by now. Immune to life? Alex asked. Is anyone even that lucky? Connor grunted and put his hands on his hips. Fine, he said. He can marry Mom, but I'm still calling him Dr. Bob. The twins returned to the other room. Bob anxiously stood and faced them. Well, he asked with bated breath. The jury has spoken, Connor said. Alex and I have decided you may ask our Mom to marry you. Bob joyfully clapped his hands together, and tears came to his eyes. Guys, you've made me the happiest man alive, Bob said. Thank you. I promise to take care of her for the rest of her life. Buster barked and jumped up and down, joining in on the celebration. Where are you going to do it? Alex asked him. How about here? Over dinner, maybe, Bob said. I'll order food from her favorite restaurant and surprise her when she gets off work. When? Connor asked. The sooner the better, Bob said. I'm free next Thursday night. How about then? I have class in the afternoon, but I'll be home by 6, Alex said. Great, then it's settled, Bob said. I'll propose next week on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. I'll ask a few of the nurses to keep your Mom busy so she doesn't get home early and ruin the surprise. This is going to be terrific. The twins were looking forward to it. Not the event itself, but a chance to see their Mom happy again. Hey, Bob, Connor said. Are you going to move in with us? Usually married people like to live with each other for the first couple months at least. That's a good question, Alex said. Where are we going to live? My house, Bob said and shrugged his shoulders. Before she died, my wife and I bought a big house not too far from here, thinking we were going to raise a family. It'd be nice to finally fill all those rooms up. The twins looked around their small rental house. The thought of leaving made them feel sad. It had unexpectedly become home over the years. It'll be weird to move again, Alex said, but easy since we've never actually finished unpacking last time. I've got a swimming pool, Bob said, trying to cheer up the twins. Connor's eyes grew big. Whoa, 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 he said. Bob, you could have saved yourself an entire afternoon if you'd just started with swimming pool. Alex rolled her eyes. Bob let out a soft chuckle. Now, Mom better say yes, or I'm going to be so disappointed, Connor said. All right, guys, I'm going to stop it there.